Hello guys, welcome to another tutorial. My name is Kakyuza, and today in this video I'm going to be teaching you how to create pixel UIs. So pixel UIs are literally the easiest UI style to replicate. A lot of people have confusion when it comes to the pixel UI style, and today I'm going to be leaking all the secrets. So I've quickly created a new file. I went to File, New, and then I changed the width and the height to 1920 x 1080 pixels, and the resolution is going to be 72. Now that we're here, what I'm going to do is I'm going to right click the background and click Layer from Background. Okay, now we have the background as a layer. Next step is to give it a sort of a dark vibe, because that's what pixel UI designers do with their displays or their presentations of their UI. So I've gone ahead and searched grunge texture. We're going to put this on our Photoshop file. I like this one, so let's go with this. I'm now going to paste it in a new layer by pressing Ctrl V. Now that we have it here, what I'm going to do is I'm going to do something very simple. Let's go and put this right here, and then I'm going to Ctrl J and duplicate it, and then I'm going to move it up. I'm going to flip it vertically. This gives it a sort of a smooth transition on the edges, as you can see. Next up, what I'm going to do is I'm going to select both of them and merge them, and I'm going to increase the size. Now I'm going to just duplicate this merged layer again and then flip it horizontally, and then I'm going to put this on the edge right here. Now I'm going to merge it again. Now that we have this sort of like little funny thing, I'm going to center it, and then I'm going to zoom out. And now I'm going to just increase the size and play around with the values a bit until I get what I want to get. We can also distort it by holding Control and selecting one of the vertices. Let's maybe go for something like maybe this, and then we can warp it around, give it a bit of a more fun fluidity instead of just going with something basic. Okay, I like this. Now I'm going to go and filter, sharpen, and then I'm going to sharpen this. And now I'm going to change the normal blending mode to overlay, and I'm going to reduce the opacity to something like 30. Maybe 50. So what I'm going to do next is I'm going to create a new layer, and I'm going to add a vignette to the entire screen. So we're going to click on this and then select elliptical marquee tool, and I'll make a random shape like this, and then I'm gonna press G and then select one color and then put it, and then I'm gonna press Ctrl D to deselect it. Then I'll center it across the screen. I'll make it bigger a bit, leave some space on the gaps, and then I'm going to hold Control and click on this box to select it, and then I'm gonna press Ctrl Shift I to select the inverse. I'm gonna hide this, go on a new layer, and then I'm gonna create a black gradient fill, and now I've filled this entire bit right here. Then I'm going to go and filter, blur, Gaussian blur, and there we go, we have our vignette. I'm gonna change it to the value that I like, something like that maybe, and then I'm going to lower the vignette to something like 60 maybe. I'm thinking there's some problems with the texture. Maybe we're gonna go in adjustments, contrast, increase the contrast, maybe increase the brightness as well, and we can increase it a bit. Maybe from 30 we'll keep it 40. I like that. And then I'll duplicate it again, see if I can change it up a bit, add some variation to it rather than make it look plain. Then I'm going to create a mask on it and erase it from some parts so it doesn't feel too systematic. I like this. So I'm going to quickly apply the layer mask, and then we can see that it quickly added a bit of more texture to our original shape. I'm going to change the blending mode of both of them by selecting both of them and change it to normal. I'm going to merge them, and then I'm going to overlay again. So now we have the same thing that we had earlier, and I'm going to fit to screen again, the zoom. I've decided to add one more texture on top, so we're going to quickly go on Google, and I'm going to select this one right here, and then I'm going to paste it on a new layer by pressing Ctrl V. I'll put it below the vignette, I'll zoom out, and then I'm going to make it bigger again. I'm going to and I like this. So we're going to do the same thing. We're going to sharpen, and then we are going to turn on overlay, and we are going to press Ctrl I to change the style of it. So now as we can see, the white and blacks have been inverted, so I'm going to quickly change the opacity of the overlaid file, this one, to 30 maybe. And as we can see, it has added a much more enjoyable texture on the background itself. If we quickly disable it and enable it, we can see that it has this sort of effect on the edges that I really like, so I'm going to keep this. So now what I'm going to do is I'm going to simply merge all of this so we have one background layer. I'm going to zoom out, and since the entire background layer has been laid out in such a way that there are some parts of the layer that are outside of the screen, I'm going to press Ctrl A so that it selects the entire canvas, and then I'm going to press L to select the lasso tool, right click, and then layer via cut. Now we have the entire layer's contents on a separate layer that just filled the size of the screen. I'm going to delete the old one, and yeah, that's our background. So now what we're going to do is we are going to create a new layer, and instead of selecting the brush tool, as you guys might have thought, we are going to right click the brush tool and select the pencil tool. This is what every single Pixel UI designer uses. This is also why they don't make Pixel UIs in Figma, because Figma is a vector application and only Photoshop or Photopea have this pencil tool, which is a tool that gives very pixely output instead of the soft output that the brush tool gives. If we were to quickly zoom in a bit and then make a few lines, something like this maybe. And now let's try to do the same thing in the brush tool. So we're going to come to the brush tool, and now we're going to create a line. If we zoom in, we can see that the pencil tool is so much sharper than the brush tool, even though the settings of the brush are set to 100 hardness. Now there are ways to achieve the pixely sort of look in the brush tool by going in the brush settings and then modifying the texture property of the brush, but it's just not very viable, and we just decide to go with the pencil tool instead. We're going to delete the layer and create a new one. And now we're going to get started on the process of making the Pixel UI. So first up, we're going to select the Paint Bucket tool, and we are going to make a square. We are going to create the toolbar that roguelike games, for example, Rogue Lineage or Deep Woken, have on the bottom of their screen. Let's quickly go ahead and make a square selection by holding Shift and selecting the rectangle marquee tool. And then we are going to select the Paint Bucket tool and then fill it with black color. Press Ctrl D to deselect, and then press Ctrl A, press V, and then select the black box and then center it. Hold Alt and move one of the vertices down, and then we are going to press tick. Next, what we're going to do is we are going to do something very simple. We are just going to zoom in a bit more, create a new layer, and then we are going to go in the properties of this layer, blending options. We're going to turn on stroke, and we are going to set the size of the stroke to 2 and the color to black. Done. Now we are going to select the pencil tool that we had by pressing B, and then we are going to finally get started. If we were to hold Shift, and let's quickly draw a line around the entire box. And same here, and then same here. As we can see, we've quickly gone ahead and made like a sort of little box around the box itself. If we were to hide this layer, we can see that the stroke is working pretty nice. We will be using the stroke a lot. So there's two ways to continue. Now we could go ahead and manually draw the shape on all of the sides to make it look symmetrical. Like if I wanted to make something like this, I'd have to do it right here as well, and then here as well, and then here as well. So an easy way to do this, luckily Photoshop has a beautiful option called symmetry. You can click on this button when you have brush tool selected or the pencil tool selected. Click on this right here and turn on dual axis. When you select this and your box is in the center of your screen, you can check it, and now anything you draw is going to draw on all 4 axes of your screen. This is beautiful, and this is the tool that is going to speed up your process by 1,000,000 times, so please use this tool. Let's go ahead and design something very, very fun. So guys, this is the initial design that I've created. As you can see, I've gone ahead and made 3 layers. This one precedes over the first layer that we had. It's just so that I can make some shapes on top of the layer that we had initially. If you were to zoom outside real quick and see how it looks like from a distance, this is how the tool would look like. It is not as detailed. This is just a beginner's guide. And yeah, one more thing that we can do is we can quickly zoom back in, and then we are going to group all of these up with the background, and then we're going to zoom out and then put this in the absolute center, open the group, and we are going to look for the layer that we had in the center, this one. And now we're going to right click it and go in blending options. We're going to click on gradient overlay, and as you can see, the starting gradient that we have, it looks pretty nice right here. I could play around with the scale, and then I could change the scale up a bit, give it a sort of a dark look. Maybe something like this works, something like this maybe. And then if I zoom out, pressing Control and minus, we can see that it looks so beautiful. Maybe I will go with something like this. And we can also play around with the colors. I have a preset color here. Let's try this one. As you can see, if I was to increase the opacity, we can change the colors very, very beautifully. We can also do so many more things with it. We could instantly zoom in, and we can add an inner shadow to it. And in the inner shadow properties, we are going to set this to black and change this to multiply, and the opacity is 100. We're just going to play with the distance, nothing else. If we were to quickly go with something like this maybe and zoom out, and then we were to change the opacity, you can see that it gives it a sort of a nice little effect. Let's turn off global light and then change this to -90, and then we can play around with the opacity, and yeah, it is changing. Let's turn this off for now, and let's go to the gradient overlay and change this back to the basic one that we had, and change the opacity to something like 46. Now I'm going to zoom out, and this is how my tool looks like. I'm going to select the entire thing, and I'm going to move it a bit down, something here. And one thing that I forgot is I'm going to add the number on top of the tool. So what I'm going to do now is I'm going to quickly add a font to this, which I forgot. Before we do that, one thing that I need to do is I need to make some space to put the font. So I'm going to turn off the symmetry because we can do everything manually now. I'm going to select the rectangle, and I'm going to free up some space right around here. Let's free up this space first. I'm going to select the black color in the pencil tool. I'm going to color it in. I'm going to zoom out a bit so you guys can see better, and then I'm going to select this part. Then I'm going to color this black. Now we have a lot of space for our text, so we're going to create a new layer, press T. I'm going to use the font called Alagard. This is a font that I really like. I'm going to click here, and then I'm going to type 6, and then I'm going to reduce the text size to something like 24 maybe, and I'm going to put this right here. Let's go ahead and add a stroke to it. The stroke is going to be simply 2. We don't want any more than that. And then let's increase the size back to something like 28 maybe, or 30 works actually for more readability. Then we are going to zoom out, and as we can see, it looks very, very beautiful. And yeah, this is how it looks like. So this is already looking so beautiful. If we were to just quickly go ahead and duplicate this multiple times, maybe come here and then put it somewhere like just enough so that it touches the other one, and then we are going to press our arrow key and move it to the right side. 1 2 3 4 5. Let's make a 5 pixel gap among each of them. So we're going to zoom out, and then we are going to do the same thing multiple times. Let's put this right here, and 1 2 3 4 5. Zoom out again, duplicate again, place it right here, and then 1 2 3 4 5, and then once more perhaps come right here. It was right here. 1 2 3 4 5. Then we're going to fit on screen. Let's group all of these together, and then we are going to press Ctrl A and then center them on the screen. Now we have this sort of little toolbar right here. We're going to zoom in again, and then we are going to change the numbers. This is going to be 3. This is going to be 2. This is going to be 1. This is going to be 4. And this one is going to be 5. Let's check this and then fit to screen. This is our little toolbar. There are a lot of ways to modify this further. If we were to go to the box itself, and then we added a sort of a gradient overlay to that, and then increase the scale, reverse it, and then maybe give it something like 15 opacity. we're going to go to the layer that we had below everything, this one, and we are going to remove the stroke from it. So let's zoom out again, and there we go. It adds so much more depth to it. We can quickly do the same thing, copy layer style, select all of them while holding Control and Shift. And if you were to select all of them, right click and then paste layer style. And then we're going to do the same thing on the layer that was above it, copy, and then we're going to press V, select this one, Control Shift and select this one and then this one, and right click and paste layer style. Fit to screen, and there we are. That's our little toolbar. Let's quickly collapse all these groups. So one might argue that it is blending in with the background too much, so we can zoom in again, create a new layer, grab the rectangle marquee tool, and then we're going to make a paint bucket fill right here, which is completely black. We're going to center it, and then we're going to make it smaller in size, something like this. And now we're going to make it smaller in width. Let's quickly go and filter, blur, motion blur, and the angle is set to 0. Let's do it something like this, maybe. Now let's change the opacity of this to 50 by pressing 5 on our keyboard while the zoom tool is selected. And now it is standing out much more better. We could play around and see what we like. Maybe something like that works. And we can also go and add a Gaussian blur to it to make sure that doesn't look too edgy. One more thing that we could do for the sake of the video is we can quickly go ahead and lower the gradient overlay on this one. Maybe change this to 10. And now we're going to add an outer glow to it. So for the outer glow, let's use normal because Roblox doesn't support any other blend mode. And then increase the size and increase the range as well. This is going to be a very soft outer glow on this. Let's lower the opacity to something like 10. And yeah, now let's copy this one across all of them and see the outcome. So as we can see, it has quickly gone and added a sort of outer glow to all of them. It might not be noticeable, but in Roblox it definitely will be. You could also increase the opacity of the outer glow, but I think it's not going to look very nice, so I won't do that. And now we are going to get started on a frame. I'm going to quickly go and name this group as the toolbar, and I'm going to collapse this. Next, what we're going to do is we are going to create a new layer and then select the rectangle marquee tool, and then we are going to make a bigger one. Bigger box, something like this, and then fill it with black. Let's go and center this and raise it a bit, something like that. I'm going to lower the toolbar a bit more, and I'm going to lower the UI a bit more. And now let's get started on the main frame. So for the box itself, I'm going to make it a bit transparent. So what I'm going to do is I'm going to change the opacity of the box to something like maybe 60. I like 60. Apart from that, let's go and create a new layer, and we are going to go in blending options and turn on stroke as we had earlier and set it to 2. Next up, we are going to grab our pencil tool and reduce the size to 1, and then we are going to create exactly what we had earlier on this main frame. So let's quickly go and do that. So now what we're going to do is we are going to simply zoom back in, and for the main frame, it is better practice to not make designs all over the edges. It's just better practice to make it on the corners so that people can actually focus on the contents inside of that frame. So we're going to go on this edge, for example, and we are going to quickly make some random design. Now we are going to zoom back in and erase the part inside of that little design that I just made. You guys might have done it differently, so no need to fret. You can do whatever you want to do. We're just simply playing around. And once I'm done with that, I'm going to quickly go ahead and make it a bit nicer. Perhaps make it look like this. And same here, I'm going to make it look like this. So now that I've done that, one more thing that I'm going to do is I'm going to click this layer, and I'm going to also fill in these gaps with the black color that we had initially. So let's quickly go and do that, just like that, and here, yep, right here, This is just to merge it with the original layer that we had. And now it looks pretty nice. So one thing you guys might have noticed is that I did not use symmetry for this. So now copying this and then pasting it here is going to be a bit tacky, but I have only done this so that I can also teach you guys how to recover from this mistake if you have done it. So what we're going to do is we are going to simply create a new layer. We're going to copy the rectangle that we had. Let's just copy it all the way here, and then we're going to paste it. It is one lower actually, so let's just copy and paste it all across the stroke and everything that we have right here as well. I'm holding shift, by the way, to make it speed up, and yeah, somewhere there. So I've just now held shift and added it all across this current selection. And now I'm going to make a gradient fill. It's completely black, and I am going to press Ctrl R, bring out my rulers, and I'm going to put them in the center. Now I'm just going to go back to the rectangle tool, and I am going to erase this and then hold shift and then erase this part as well. Let's just hide this one. We are going to erase the parts of this layer. So now what I'm going to do is I'm going to quickly hide the ruler, and I'm going to erase this main box. Let's quickly go ahead and do that. And I'm also going to erase the stroke. So now that we've done that, what we are going to do is we are going to simply copy it again on all four sides. So we're going to select both of these, and then we're going to right click and then duplicate. Or we can also press Ctrl J, flip horizontal, and then put this right here where it meets. We're going to fix that stroke problem in a second. Zoom out, and then we are going to select both of these and Ctrl J, and then flip vertical. And then we are going to drag it down, and we are going to put it somewhere right here. So now it's a perfect match on all four sides. What we are going to do is we are going to merge all of the black ones together right there, and then we are going to simply copy the layer style of one of these, select all of them, clear layer style, and then we are going to simply merge them and then paste the layer style. As we can see, all the black issue around the center has been fixed for all of them. So this is me creating a main frame for my little inventory right here. So what I'm going to do next is I'm going to simply go ahead and create a new layer, and then I am going to paste the same layer style that I had on this one, and then we are going to make a little rectangle. So we're just gonna come here, select the white color and then lower the size to 1 pixel. And then we are going to make a little rectangle. This can also be done in a different way, which I'll show in a second. Now that we have a little rectangle, let's quickly center this and then drag it up again somewhere here. Another way to do this rectangle is very simple. We're just gonna go ahead and select the rectangle marquee tool, make a rectangle, fill it with white color. Control and click on this, and then go and select, modify, contract, and then contract by 1 pixel, and then delete. It's that simple, and then we can paste the layer style and we have the same thing. So let's go with this one actually, and then let's move this a bit higher, somewhere here maybe. Now we are gonna simply go ahead and fill this with a black color again. So let's just fill it with a black color now. We are going to change the color of it from black to white, and then we are going to lower the opacity to something like 20. Now that we have this, what we are going to do is we are going to go and create a new text on top of it and type in capital letters inventory. Change the color to white, and then we are going to put this in the center of this existing box. And now we're going to change the size, make it bigger, something like this. Put it a bit more in the center, and we are going to apply the same thing to this layer. As we can see, we have this sort of inventory. Maybe you don't like the text that much, so I can try going with a different text. I'm going to select all of it and then change the text until I find the one that I like. So I like this text, that's what I'm going to go with. I'm going to quickly select it and then move it a bit higher. Then I'm going to zoom out, and yeah, this looks pretty nice. Next, what I'm going to do is I'm going to quickly just add some more effects on this main inventory frame that we have. We're going to go to the same layer, and then we are going to press our pencil tool, and then we're going to change the color to white. Let's draw a little sort of effect right here. Probably do this on a new layer so that it's a safe method. Paste layer style, and yeah, let's go. Before we do it now, we're going to turn on our symmetry to make sure that we don't run into another problem. This time I've gone with a vertical symmetry and not a dual axis one, so that it's just on this side. I don't want to do it on dual axis right now. So what I'm going to do is I'm going to simply just come here and do this. So this is the title bar that I've made. It can be detailed a lot more and it can be made a lot more consistent with the style, but I just wanted to show you guys the multiple things that you can do. I have gone ahead and I have added like these little sort of glitching away effects, or some sort of like effects as if the frame was fading away on the left and right side. You guys can definitely go ahead and do the same thing if you would like to. Apart from that, I have gone ahead and I have added a sort of a layer mask to the white rectangle that we added. And if I was to quickly disable the layer mask, you can see that it takes away this sort of effect that I added on the rectangle. This is just a very transparent shine effect that I've sort of added to sort of make the human eye think that there's detail on the rectangle even though there isn't. Apart from this, what we're gonna do now is we are going to we are gonna make a search bar on the inventory. So let's go ahead and do that. We're going to first group all of this into inventory, and let's go ahead and add a search bar on top of this. Don't forget to save, guys. If your PC crashes or anything happens, you will lose the file and we don't want to do that. So don't forget to save. And now let's get started on our search bar. So we're gonna click on the rectangle marquee tool and we're gonna make another square in the center, something like that, and fill it fully black, center it, and then we are going to put it in the position right below our inventory white rectangle, and we're going to make sure that the values are perfect, something like this. Next, what we are going to do is we are going to simply reduce the opacity to something like 50, make it still feel transparent, and then let's quickly duplicate this inventory, put it on top of the search frame, and we are going to change this to search. Let's make the size a lot smaller, something like 30 maybe. Put it right here and then put it right here. And now we're going to change the opacity of the search to something like 50, 40. We should probably go with a font that's available in Roblox Studio, but since I'm not going to be importing this into Studio, I'm just gonna go with a custom font. You can look at a list of fonts that are available on Roblox Studio by just making a text label and then going in the font face property and expanding it and then looking at the list of available fonts. I've gone ahead and made a line on the search bar, also its stroke, and since this was looking very prominent, as we can see from a distance, it stands out way too much. What I did is I just went in the blending options and I turned on this gradient overlay. So what it does is it just makes it darker. Let me show you guys, and there we go. It gives it this sort of like effect that it's disappearing from this side and this side, but it's showing on this side and this side. The gradient overlay is set to this sort of angle, which is 100, and the scale is set to fully max. And we can also make it a bit more darker to make it disappear a bit, something like 92 maybe. And yeah, I really like this, so this is what I'm gonna go with personally. Next up, what we're gonna do is we are just going to make a box in the main inventory so that we can hold the stuff that we have inside our inventory frame. Let's group all of this up and name it a search bar. And now we're gonna put this in the inventory group. Next up, what we're gonna do is we are just gonna go back, new layer, and then we are going to hold the rectangle marquee tool, and then we are gonna make a box again. Fill it with paint bucket tool, and now what we're going to do is we are going to just simply make sure that the padding is all okay. If we were to move it somewhere here, now it matches with the absolute ending of the upper inventory frame's black stroke. As you can see, maybe it's hard to see for you guys, but If I was to quickly hide this, you can see that this is the ending point and I have made it match that ending point. Now what I'm going to do is I'm going to calculate how far this starting line of the search bar is from this ending line. So let's hold shift and then press the down arrow key to move by 10 pixels. And so it is about 24. So let's quickly go and confirm. Shift once, that's 10 pixels. Shift again, that's 20 pixels. 21, 22, 23. Oh, it's 23 pixels, okay. This is how we are going to do it again on the bottom side. So we're going to quickly come here and then we're going to hold shift, 10, 20, and then 1, 2, 3. This is how we're going to position it. We're going to do the same thing on the bottom side. Next, what we're going to do is we are going to make the padding on the top side and the bottom side the same as well. So in order to do that, I'm just going to zoom in. We're going to do this in a different way. Select rectangle marquee tool, and then we're going to select the distance, and then we're just simply going to drag that distance below. This does not drag any content, so you don't have to worry about that. Let's position this somewhere here. Now it's at this point, and we can see that we are off by 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6, 7, 8 pixels. So we're just going to press Ctrl D, hide that, and we're going to increase the size of it from the bottom side only by 8 pixels. So if I click this and hold shift, I can move it only on one side. By the way, you guys might be facing a problem. I have gone ahead in edit and I have in preferences, and I have this option disabled, use legacy free transform. Some of you might have it enabled, so it will be behaving differently, so please make sure that this is disabled. Cancel. Now we're gonna increase it by 8 pixels. 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6, 7, 8. There we are, fit to screen, and this is our box. I'm gonna enable the background again, and we are going to lower the opacity of this box by 50. What I'm going to do is I'm going to go in my inventory, and then I'm going to click on this thing that we had earlier. As we can see, we have these two things that we need to change in order to do this sort of effect. So what we're going to do is we are going to simply make a ruler right here, which is in the center of this entire two layers. And then we are going to select the rectangle marquee tool, and we are going to create click on both of these separately, and then we're going to right click and then layer via cut, and on this one as well, layer via, sorry, we're going to have to select again and then layer via cut. So what we're going to do now is we're going to move both of these by, let's say, 10, 20, or maybe a bit more, 1, 2. I like this. So 22 is what we're going to move them with. The same thing on the left side, 1, 2, 1, 2. That's 22. So we are going to quickly fix this issue that we have in the center now. We're going to do the same thing that we did earlier. Copy layer style, clear layer style for both of these, and then paste layer style after merging. There we are. Next up, what we're going to do is, in order to fix this issue, we are just going to simply delete the content from the extra parts on both sides. So if this is this big, we are just going to simply erase this extra part. After moving, let's hide the ruler, and then we are going to merge both of these. There we are. This looks pretty nice to me. So what I'm going to do next is I'm going to quickly make a new layer, and then I'm just going to make a white box on top of it. Press X to change the colors, and then press G and make a white box. Let's go and put this on the top left of this frame by pressing Ctrl and clicking on this box to select it, and then pressing V and then clicking on this and pressing right here and then right here. Zoom out, and then let's pad it. Hold shift and move the arrow keys, move it right here, and maybe we're going to move it a bit more, maybe 12, maybe 14 works. I like 14. After that, let's just quickly do the same thing. Remember, we moved it by 14, so it's gonna be the same. 1, 1, 2, 3, 4. So it's going to be the same. 10, 1, 2, 3, 4. So now let's quickly select all of these and change the opacity to something like 20. Fit to screen, and there we are. I really like the boxes that we have here. We can also change the opacity to something like 10, maybe 15, whatever you guys like. Maybe 12 works for me. I'm going to merge these boxes real quick, and then I'm going to drag them again. If you remember, it was 10, 1, 2, 3, 4. So I'm going to do the same thing again. 10, 1, 2, 3, 4, and then 10, 1, 2, 3, 4. Then we are going to just mask it so that it gives a sort of a scrolling effect to it. Invert the scroll, and there we are. This is our little inventory. We could also add a scrolling bar to it and stuff like that, but I'm not gonna do that for now. I really like how it turned out. This is beautiful, and this is what I'm gonna stick with for my tutorial. Let's quickly delete this extra layer that we have and then group all of this, put this in the inventory as well, and call it the holder, or sorry, the container. And yeah, that is our inventory. Next, what we're going to do is we are going to create a leaderboard on the top right. So let's quickly go ahead and do that. I'm going to select the rectangle marquee tool, and then we're going to make a big rectangle. Honestly, something like this works. Let's put it right here. We can't put it on the top because you have to remember that Roblox has a GUI that is going to cover the top right. So we're not going to do that. Let's press Ctrl R, and then we are going to perhaps move it to the extreme end. So now what we're going to do is we are going to quickly grab the ruler, and then we are going to put it right here. Next up, let's quickly go in filter, blur, motion blur, and then do something like this. Maybe I like this, or maybe something like this works. Okay, we're going to simply use the ruler and delete the extra part on the right side, grab the erase tool again, and we are going to erase that part, and then we are going to put it right here. Let's quickly move it a bit lower, somewhere like that works maybe. So what I'm going to quickly do is I'm going to create a mask on this, and then I'm going to select the brush tool, not the pencil tool, remove the hardness, increase the size, and then I'm going to invert the colors to black, increase the size a bit more. Then I'm going to create a fading effect on the bottom as well of the leaderboard. Maybe something like this works, and then make it smaller, make the fading a bit more better. Something like this. As we can see, the sharpness no longer exists. Just to be clear, let's quickly go ahead and sharpen it right here. Okay, there we are. So this is going to be how my leaderboard looks like. So what I'm going to do now is I'm going to quickly go ahead and create a scrolling bar on the leaderboard. It's going to be on the right side. So let's go back to our pencil tool and increase the opacity to max. Lower the size back to 1 pixel, and then add a layer style on this. We're going to not forget about the symmetry. So what we can do is we can hide the inventory and make the scrolling bar in the center first. Turn on dual axis, and then let's go ahead and make a scrolling bar. I like this. I'm going to keep it like that. Other than that, we are going to get started on the player names. So let's do that. Let's move this a bit higher right here. And let's make our first name. I'm going to make a new layer, and then we're going to change. We're going to add text, and then let's say something like Accusa V. And we're going to change this to regular. Sorry, select all of it, and then change it to regular. Change the font size to something like 20. And put it right here. Right there. One thing that we are going to notice is that it is too opaque. So what we're going to do is we are going to reduce the opacity, and then we are going to add a box beneath it. Again, one more box. This is going to look something like this. Let's quickly do that, and then do this. Something like that. You're going to fade it on the left side again, as we did with all of our other things. This time we don't actually need to use a mask. You can just do it with the eraser tool. Doesn't really matter. One thing that I've noticed is that I actually don't like how it looks. I'm going to make this a bit bigger, something like this maybe, and I'm going to in fact change the colors. So after doing that, what I'm going to do is I'm going to come back to the font. I'm going to change this from regular to bold to make it stand out more. And then I'm going to make this visible again. I'm going to simply add a stroke to this, paste layer style. And there we are. I'm going to reduce the opacity of the white frame to something like something like 20 maybe. That looks nice. And then I'm going to make this lower. Let's quickly group both of these two only, and then remember that in these roguelike games we also have a roleplay name. So let's just go ahead and add something like that. I'm just gonna add my real name, so I'm gonna say Alicia. Then I'm gonna put it like this, but I'm just going to actually add it on the other side. I don't remember how it looks like in roleplay games. Actually, I think it is the player name that is in fact in brackets, not the other way around. So that's what I've done. I'm just going to quickly fit on screen and then see how it looks like, and I kind of like this. This is pretty nice to me. So I like this. What I'm just going to do is I'm going to simply duplicate this multiple times. And let's go here. The padding that I'm going to choose is perhaps 1, 2, 3, 4. 4 looks nice because there's going to be a lot of players, maybe 5 actually. Alright, let's just go and do this so many more times. I think I might actually increase the spacing. So let's just select all of these one by one. 1, 2, deselect that, 1, 2, like that, 1, 2. I'm gonna do it to this one. Let's just quickly merge this, and then this, and then mask, and do this. So it would cut off just like this. I think some people might not be a fan of this. What you could do is you could use a canvas group in order to make sure that this doesn't happen, or you could also just cut off somewhere here and make it look a bit nice the way that you guys want to. So this is also something that you guys can do. Please be sure to utilize that, but I'm not gonna go with that, so I'm just gonna keep it the way that I had earlier. And yeah, this is what my leader stats are looking like. I'm going to fix the padding on the extreme right side. The scrolling bar needs to be a bit more to the right side. Then all of these groups also need to move by just 1 pixel. So we're going to collapse all of these, select all of them, move them by 1 pixel, or 2 pixels maybe. And move the scrolling frame again by 1 pixel. And there we are. This looks perfect. And the same thing right here. And yep, there we go. This is perfectly positioned. Everything is beautiful. One thing that I might do is I just might move all of them up right here maybe. And yeah, I really like this. So I'm gonna stick with this as it is. I'm gonna quickly group all of this and call it Leaderstats. One last thing that we're going to do is we are going to add a party menu on the left side to show what party members are currently present. So let's go ahead and create our party menu. We're gonna zoom in right here, and we're gonna select the circle one this time. Hold shift to create a sort of a circle. Fill it with black. Put it right here. And then what we're gonna do is we're going to maybe make it a bit bigger. And yeah, lower the opacity to something like 50, 55 maybe, or maybe 60 actually. And then we are going to simply add 2 rectangles next to it, something like this. This is going to be the place where they put their names. Make it a bit bigger, something like this, something like this. I'm gonna do the same motion blur effect that we added earlier. Make it a bit bigger, something like this. Like that. Then we are going to erase all this unnecessary part right there. Let's erase that. Now what we're going to do is we are going to make it bigger on the vertical axis, something like this maybe, and then move it in a bit, center it on the circle on the vertical axis, and then erase it on the circle. Next, let's just quickly go ahead and duplicate this, and then duplicate this, merge it, and then we're going to fade it away more from the right side. So something like this maybe. And then we are going to lower the opacity again to something like 60 maybe, and I like that. So let's go ahead and design the circle around our box now. We're gonna do a little technique. We're going to select all of this, then we're going to fill it with white on a new layer, like this. Then we're gonna select the new layer, contract by 1 pixel, delete everything inside of that. And then we are just going to duplicate this to make it very sharp. And once we have that, let's just go ahead and filter sharpen. So now what we're going to do is we are going to add a stroke to it, just like that. And then, so what we're going to do now is we are going to play with the pencil tool. We're just going to quickly group this circle only, and then put this in the center of our screen. Let's hide the inventory again, and then let's turn on our dual axis. Once we have that, let's just place it, and then we also have to center this on this axis. And now we can start playing around with our white line. Let's go and start drawing anything we like. One thing that we will be wanting to add is a sort of colored icon right here to distinguish players from each other. So let's quickly go and do that. We're going to select this layer again. We're going to lower the size, and then let's make a colored right here. So now I'm going to simply go ahead and add a color beneath this. We're going to make a new layer, and then we are going to color it something like this perhaps. Go and quickly, we have to turn off dual axis symmetry. Let's turn on horizontal symmetry only, and then let's color this somewhere here. Once we have this, let's go and see the result on the bottom, and there we have it. And yeah, this looks pretty nice. Select this again, erase a bit, because we don't want it right just there. Yep, and this looks great. One more thing that we can do is we can quickly add some effect to this turn on bevel and emboss right here. We're going to increase it, and let's change the depth to something like this, increase the size a bit, and then we're going to actually bring it a bit closer. 90 is good. Then we're going to change this to 45. Actually, let's change this to 4. Increase the depth even more. Size is actually going to change to something like, let's try 10. This is good. I like this a lot. If you look at it from a distance, it stands out a bit more. Turn on overlay, actually, no. Now let's try adding some shadow to it on overlay. And this looks pretty nice if you were to see it from a distance. Let's lower the screen a bit, and there we are. Added a quick little effect to it. So what we're going to do now is we're going to move this back to where we had it, and then we're going to position it above that rectangle. We're going to make sure that we position it properly. For that, I think this is going to be fine. Let's bring it all the way here. This is good. This is perfect. So now all we're gonna do is we are going to simply go ahead and add the name of the player. So if I was to say something like that, then yep, put it here. Add a layer style to it as we had right there, and then increase the size of this to something like 24, just for the sake of this one. And this looks pretty good. So what we're going to do is we're going to simply make this sort of thing below it a bit more smaller. So in order to do that, we're just going to select the rectangle tool. So this is 5 pixels here, and then let's delete that and move it down and select 5 pixels again. That's 5 pixels, delete that, and yeah, there we are. It has become smaller. We're going to move it a bit more lower, and now let's get started on the health bars. I'm going to make a new layer. Let's use the rectangle marquee tool and create something like this. Let's fill it with a white color. And then we are going to select this, select contract by 1 pixel, and then delete this. going to select this box, and then we are going to add a stroke to it, same way that everything else has had a stroke. If you remember, in our inventory right here, we had this search bar that had this sort of effect on it. We're going to do the same thing on this one. Let's copy, and then click on this, and then paste. We forgot to add a stroke, so let's just do that. And there we are. Let's just quickly make sure that the color goes from white to black, not actually the other way around, since we don't want that. Keep it something like this, perhaps. This looks nice to me. Now we're gonna fill it with the red color beneath it. Quickly go ahead and do that. This looks nice. Let's keep it that way. And we might have to make it a bit smaller, so let's do that. I'm just going to select this entire thing and press the arrow keys to move it. Something like that. Maybe a bit more smaller. And this is personal preference, I'm just making it smaller because of myself. I'll also make this a bit smaller. And there we are. I quite like this. We're gonna do the same thing. So group this, call it the health bar. And we're just gonna move it. So if this was 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6, 6, okay. Let's do that. 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6, and there we are. These are our two bars. We can make them a bit more smaller, depending on preference. Maybe I might just make them closer. Yeah, closer looks nice. So let's go and change the color of this. I'm gonna go with something bluish. Let's change the adjustment hue. Maybe this looks nice. See if we can play around with the saturation a bit. Nope, doesn't look nice. Let's keep it something like, yeah, this is good. We'll just leave it there. So this looks pretty nice. One thing that I'm seeing is I might actually just see if this looks nice. Oh, I actually really like that. Let's move it up a bit for now. And then we are going to make this back to something like this, as we had. Then we are also going to do it right here. Let's confirm quickly that it's the same 1, 2, 3, 4, 5. 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, and it is. So let's just put it down here. Does not have to be perfectly positioned, or maybe we can make it positioned, it doesn't really matter. And yeah, I might actually not make it a bit positioned, because this is how I like it. One thing that I'm gonna do is I might actually just make the bars a bit smaller. So let's just move them a bit here, perhaps. Or no, I actually kind of like this. So I might just position it, who cares? Something like that. Next up, what we're gonna do is we are going to just simply, let's rasterize this real quick. Line layer mask, and yeah, let's just delete everything that we have that we don't want. And this looks really nice to me. This is what I'm gonna go with in the end. So let's just quickly go ahead and add this inside the group, this thing that we had beneath everything, and then let's quickly go ahead and duplicate this multiple times. As we can see, there's a small issue right here. This box, the player icon, is way too big, so let's fix that real fast. We're going to go in, select these things only. So what we're going to do is we're going to select all of this after selecting all the 4 layers, and then we're going to move it down and then come here, change it to something like 75, and then check it. We're going to put it back in its position, maybe something there. Yeah, and then what we're going to do is we are going to do something very, very fun now. Let's just make sure that we delete the extra part right here. That is looking a bit weird. Sorry, turn on full opacity. And there we go. Next up, what we're going to do is we are going to just simply sharpen everything again, because this is causing a lot of problems. So sharpen twice. Yep. And we sharpen this one as well. Then we are going to sharpen this. This is where the main juice is. So yeah, before it was like this, and now it's like this after sharpening. This is our tab. Call it a tab. Yeah, so let's just quickly perhaps go ahead and add a label on the health bars, something like 100%. Lower it, and then we can also put this right here. This is pretty nice. I like how this looks like, so I'm just gonna do that. And then apart from that, let's quickly go ahead and duplicate the entire tab multiple times. So let's put this one right below this one. So if you fit to screen now, we have these tabs. Let's group them into party and then move them a bit higher, somewhere here. So as we can see, that's our little party HUD sort of thing. And yeah, that's what our UI looks like so far. Let's change the colors of these for each and every one of them. Hue and saturation. We're going to change this to something like teal, perhaps, for the second player. Third one is going to change into something like green. It's going to be here. That's nice. And then this one can change to something like pink. And there we are. These are our different player tabs. So let's just collapse all of this, and that's our party UI. One thing that I've forgotten to add is I'm going to quickly go in the inventory. I'm going to move it a bit higher, and then we're going to add a sort of a close button on the bottom. This is how games have on the pixel side, and let's just make a sort of a rectangle right here, center it, add motion blur to it, how we always do. Make it so much more smaller. Reduce the opacity to something like this. Make it a bit smaller here. And then duplicate this. Put it in the inventory. It's going to be right here. And then we're going to center it on top of this. Change this to close and make it so much more bigger. Center it again, and there we are. We can also say press G to close, lower the size to 20, reduce the opacity, and change this, make it smaller as well. There we are. I'm going to make it fully opaque again, and then let's just move this a bit higher, somewhere here perhaps. And now we're going to make this perhaps 1 pixel bigger only. And then let's drag the entire inventory lower again. And this looks pretty nice. One thing that you could do is you could also put it somewhere on top of it, like this maybe, but I'm just gonna put it here because that's how I like it. So what we're gonna do is we're going to quickly go to the Leaderstats and we're going to fix something. The top does not have any effect and I don't like how it looks. So I'm just gonna go to the top and then I'm going to move it by 10 pixels, and then I'm going to create a new layer, paste layer style on this layer, and then let's just add a quick clean line, something like that. So this is what I got, this little clean line. I really like the line. One thing that we could do maybe is add another one of it with 5 padding and make this so much more smaller, something like here perhaps, and decrease the opacity of this one by 50. And yeah, this actually looks pretty nice. Let's move both of them down by a bit. Oops, I actually duplicated by accident. Let's move this down by 1, 2, 3, 4, 5. So going to move this down by 1, 2, 3, 4, 5. Let's perhaps reduce the opacity of both of them, and not just the bottom one. And yeah, this looks pretty nice. I like how this looks. I'm going to stick with this. And yeah, perhaps I might just move this a bit to the right. Make it look like it actually just cut off out of nowhere. And yeah, sorry, I just have a lot of perfectionism in me. And yep, this is what I like. Oh, might actually do it right here as well. And then cut it off a bit more right here. Move the entire thing a bit to the right, and there we are. I love this. So this is what we're gonna go with. So one more thing that I've done is I've quickly gone ahead and added a sort of background shadow on this party UI. If you can see, that's what I added, and this is just to make it stand out that that's also a UI and not some 3D object in the scene. And this is just basic nitpicking. This is not really important stuff, so you guys don't have to worry about that. I might also just go ahead and decrease the opacity of all of these circles to 50%. And yeah, there we go. So one more thing that I've done is I've quickly gone ahead and added a sort of shine on the main inventory frame. It was feeling kind of lacking, that's why I did it. So if you can see right here, I've just added these two frames. This is one of them. This is just a white color rotated and then with 7 opacity. And then this one is also a rectangle that was rotated, but then I masked it. And then I erased with a soft brush this bottom left side of it. So it gives it a very nice sort of like glassy look. So guys, I'm actually going to go ahead and do two more things. I'm going to, first of all, I'm going to hold Control and select all of these. And then I'm going to lower their opacity to something like maybe 70. Scroll out, because as you can see on 100 it looks very dark and it's standing out too much, but on 70 it looks actually nice little transparent toolbar, which is what I like, so I'm gonna go with that. Then fit on screen, and yep, this is what we're gonna stick with. And next what I'm gonna do is I'm going to add some detail to the health bars. So we're gonna come to this health bar, for example, and then we're gonna just play around and see if we can do something fun with it. I'm gonna select the pencil tool again, and then let's get started. Now that I've done that on the health bar, what I'm going to do is I'm just going to simply come along and then duplicate that multiple times and then put that on the health bars below. And yeah, we are done. So I'm just gonna quickly hide this, and I have added a little variation to the health bars. So that's it for the first half of the tutorial, guys. Now for the next one, I'm going to be making something extremely more complicated, but it's going to be using all the techniques that you guys have seen. I'm also going to be utilizing my drawing tablet, but the technique that I will be using is just the same. Maybe I will be using a few outer glows here and there and some inner glows and stuff, maybe drop shadows, but that's pretty much all it's going to be. Everything else is just strokes and the pencil tool. So yeah, guys, don't fret and be sure to enjoy the rest of the video. And yeah, if you have any questions, join my server discord.gg/eugen, and yep, have fun.